Hi, Alessandro. How are you?
Good, great. Tricky time at the moment, but I feel
Time, challenging.
challenging and also a time of great opportunity. So I'm sure you and I are getting all these videos sent by people. There's worrying things, there's positive things. It's a whole mix, but it's often a reflection of actually also where our own energy and mental kind of capacity is. And I think it's a really important time for us to just stay positive, and particularly for our children, for our families. I think my daughter who's 22 is more worried than I am. She's worried about me, but I'm less worried about me. I'm worried about her anxiety and worry. And for young people, I think it's a very unusual time. And we've never been through this in our lifetime. So it's both. I see it as both an opportunity and a challenge as well.
Absolutely. I don't think we can really get one without the other.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think. But yeah, it's quite interesting how much people are now talking about, whilst yes, the virus is dangerous, actually what's even more dangerous is the fear and anxiety and stress that people are experiencing, because obviously it has very detrimental impact on our health. And we know that from countless pieces of research, what stress does to the body. So the aim of all of these videos is to be a bit more positive, a bit more uplifting, and to give people some tips and some tools. So tell us a bit about yourself and what do you do?
So I do something called Qi Qong. It's similar to Tai Chi. And Qi is energy, Qong is practice. So really, it's a practice to connect with our own energy system and the energy that's around us that helps, nature to thrive, helps us to stay alive and be healthy and vibrant. And it's about 1,000-year-old practice. I've been doing it about 30 years. And at the moment, there's a great demand, because you talk about stress. It's a great way to actually release the stress, because a lot of stress is through thinking. And in Qigong, one of the main things is we switch the mind off for a while, which is not easy to do, or we put it on pause for a while. And then a lot of things can shift in our health, in our thinking, and we end up, feeling maybe more inspired, more positive. But a bit like a glass of muddy water, if you leave it to stand for a while, the water becomes clear, and the mind and the body is a bit like that. In Qigong, the energy needs to be grounded, connecting to the earth, then the mind can become clearer. But the mind is, as you probably know, a bit overactive, imagining things, making things up, worrying. So how do we switch it off is the big challenge. Or how do we slow the thoughts down and just become more present, because we only have power in the present, and a lot of the time is spent thinking about past, future that might never come. So anyway, that's a bit of a potted history.
No, absolutely. And at the end of every day, I just say I've got two boys, and I just I just say to them, we did it, we made it through another day. It's just literally one day at a time, and sometimes it's just one moment at a time, I think, sometimes for people. So it's just get through, just be in that moment, and it'll be easier when you're here, rather than thinking, oh, we've got weeks and pretend. We just don't know.
Yeah, actually nobody knows, and
nobody knows.
It varies from 2 months to 6 months to a year to forever. It's like you could end up just thinking about
we normally on a Friday morning I meet some mums for coffee after the school run, and of course there was no school run, but we said let's meet online, and we all had a cup of coffee and we were sitting, and it was fun, and we said well let's just plan it just for the next while, either online or in person. So we'll continue that connection as well, which again is so important for people to have that connection with the other people in the outside world, but also for themselves. And I imagine Qigong is one of those practices where really it's very much about connecting in with yourself.
Yeah, it's actually a bit challenging. Many people haven't really taken much time to connect with themselves, maybe ever. So if they have an opportunity now, I think this is what's happening at the moment, that they can actually take the time to explore, go more into their own bodies and hearts, and just see what's really important in life, what isn't. So actually Qigong is also, I love this, there's a beautiful expression, I think it's Zheng Ren. It's actually about becoming a true human being. Doesn't mean that we're inhuman, but it's actually we're back, you know, we're chasing things that aren't maybe for us. So it's actually becoming who you truly are. And as you know, with children, they're so spontaneous, they're so genuine. As we get older, you know, we carry these masks, we want to be seen as a certain thing. So Qigong is kind of rejuvenating, getting back to, sometimes they call it prenatal. Of course, you know, when we're born, we're almost perfect. As we get older, we accumulate stuff. So Qigong is kind of unlearning things, divesting ourselves of things, and simplifying how we see energy, health, and, you know, in Qigong terms, it's yin and yang. You know, it's heavy and light. Earth is heavy, heaven is light. Often our energy and health is not is maybe not the best, because these two elements are mixed up. You know, the heaviness is up here often, and the lightness, you know, is not there. You know, the
Well, I suppose maybe the lightness is from being ungrounded.
Yeah,
instead of having the heavy kind of connection in with the earth, it's missing, and people don't feel very connected. And I know that you and I did a you know, one after the other, we did a little section recently at the Angel Cafe, and it was lovely to watch your Qigong session afterwards, which was great. But it was quite interesting because there was a lot of synchronicity between the meditation that I did. And then you were like, hang on a minute, that's like Qigong. What's going on here?
You did. You prepared the ground for me a lot.
But it really struck me as, you know, the reason I call this the breathing space is because breathing is such an integral part of so many different modalities of reducing stress, of being in the body, of connecting, of being present, whether they're ancient or, you know, more recent. Breathing seems to be the main connecting factor in all of them. And I just think that the reflection with the coronavirus as being something that does impact the lungs, and yet by human beings being out of the picture a bit with nature is starting to breathe a little bit as well. So I feel like there's a lot of metaphoric symbolism in that, and so Qigong is perfect as being part of this this kind of page and information to give to people to kind of build on that.
Yeah, and in Chinese medicine also, the you know, the lungs, you know, relate to anxiety or worry. So if people are anxious, it can affect the lungs, which affects the breathing, affects the skin. It's all you know, kind of quite well you know, explained that, you know, why people maybe are more prone to it, because maybe they get anxious. So it's really important, as you say, to breathe, you know, fully, deeply, and, you know, be more present to the breath. And in Qigong terms, often we actually don't use the lungs so much to breathe, but we breathe down below the navel, our main energy center, and that's called the Dantian. And same in yoga, our main energy center. And children, young children, breathe there, but we forget as we get older, it gets more shallow. And so Qigong is reminding ourselves to breathe as we did as children, which is natural, but we often breathe slightly unnaturally, and often hold the breath even, so that the
brace for
blood
impact. I always say, people go,
they're
thinking of something worrying, and you can see they completely go into that stuck mode, and they're holding their breath, and then the whole body goes, I'm dying. I mean, then you stop breathing, the body thinks, well, I'm dying. So you know, absolutely, stress levels.
Not enough oxygen for the blood. You know, I mean, the blood needs to circulate, be oxygenated. So and recently, I don't know if you were going to ask me, but I'll tell you anyway, I've had quite a lot of inspiration this last 2 weeks, and I came up with this idea to do Qigong for children at home. It just came to me about 3:15 a.m. and I understand from Rumi, the poet, that if you wake up around 3-4 o'clock, you know, he says, don't go back to sleep, don't go back to sleep. These are ideas that are coming to us from the universe. And I got this idea for Qigong for children. So I wrote it down, went back to sleep, woke up in the morning. I thought, wow, what a great idea. So I've now created, I've created a 7 15-minute videos for children to practice at home. And very I've kind of simplified it because, you know, many people have problems with concentration. But what I love about Qigong is often there are very nice images, like the 5 animals. You know, one of them is the bird, so it's kind of opening the wings. and children love to do these kind of energetic movements. So it's movement.
Sorry, I know this is going to show up in the recording, but I'm just shutting everything down because guaranteed, I just went yesterday and stuff suddenly started coming in my emails and I realized I hadn't closed the windows down. So apologies, just, I know someone's watching this recording, but things will be popping up. So apologies, Alessandro.
Don't worry. Yeah. So yes, I had this idea, and then this is my little poster for it. I'll tell you a funny thing about it.
Brilliant, yeah.
Yeah, Qi Bambini. I mean, I'm not an artist, but I just thought, let me just put this on a piece of paper. But I don't know if you saw it, I did a 1-minute video on this to promote it. And Bambini obviously is children in Italian, for those who don't know. But I did a 1-minute video yesterday, and I put it online, and there's a voice recognition, and it says, instead of Qi Bambini, it says cheap Lamborghinis. So I've had people say, can you get me a cheap Lamborghini? And and I can't change it. And in fact, I think I probably won't change it, because I quite like, being Italian, I quite like to have some cheap Lamborghinis as well. But really, it's Qi Bambini and Qigong for children. Yeah. And one other thing which I really like, after a Qigong session, a typical session, often because the mind is a bit more relaxed and open, children and adults, but children particularly, can be more creative. So if they've done something like holding a ball of light, they might want to draw it or write it down or write ideas down. So it's a kind of creative process as well. So it's not just healing, energy work, connecting to the earth. It's like a lot contained in a very simple practice. And I'll tell you one interesting story. Once this lady came to one of my classes, and her son couldn't sleep. He was 2 years old, She said he never sleeps at night. And I couldn't ask her to leave the class. I've never had a 2-year-old there, but I said, okay, it's fine. Just let him run around. So he was running around, but after about 5 minutes, and it was a cold floor, he was asleep, curled around her feet, and she was looking at him, and I was amazed myself. But it's so interesting how, pets, children, the energy, they pick it up, I don't want to say more quickly, but they're more open. Yeah, definitely more and receptive. And as adults, we tend to think this is something weird. Actually, we are energy beings. Even Einstein said, everything is energy. The atom, if you go to the middle, it's space. When you break the space, you get an atom bomb. It's crazy if you think about it. That tiny empty space has this explosive potential. So when we connect to the space in Qigong, we have more potential for ourselves.
Absolutely. And as I said, we're human beings, not human doings.
Yeah.
So to just be more human and get back into our own bodies and breath, and it's so important, and particularly this time when children are obviously at home. But yeah, I loved the idea. And that's why, when you were saying about you developed this little sort of 7-day program for kids, I thought fantastic. The Easter holidays have just started here today. Holiday, so the kids are now at home without any structure whatsoever.
Yeah.
To kind of keep us on track. I mean, the other day I just said I don't even know what day it is at this point.
No.
So we're really losing this, the structure and that kind of, rush to sort of be somewhere, and you've got to be here and got to. It's like, so I mean, I did decide to do one of these every day as some sort of structure in my life. And it's just brilliant because I just know so many people and connected to so many people who do amazing things. And I just thought, it'd be great to share it and to let people know about it. So the link to your Qi Qong for Children is going to be underneath this video.
Yeah, thank you.
You can access that, no problem. And of course, if
then I had another idea last night of doing a video for parents as well. So as part of, parents can have the emails sent to them with the videos if they click on the box, and then there will be a video for parents. And it's not how to use these videos. The parents also need support. So it's a kind of ABC of parenting / carers, coaches for children. And then I added a D as well, because I thought ABCs, we need one more. And D is the de-stressing. So there's going to be first de-stress, get rid of your own stress. Then you know, A, B, C, well, we can talk about that another time. But breathing is the B, just to give you a hint.
Very good. Oh no, it sounds fantastic. So are you going to take me through a little?
Yeah, I'll do a mini, like we can do a mini
one.
demonstration, and I'm not sure how excuse me, how much we can see on the video, but I think you can see quite a lot. But the main thing is this T-shirt, which you can see this quite well.
Yeah.
So this T-shirt, what I was saying earlier about the heavy element and the light element, when we do a good energy session and practice, then all the heaviness comes down to the earth. This is kind of the earth, the grounded part. And often this messy part is up here at the head. So the head is all a bit fuzzy. We don't know what we're doing. We're worrying. If we can settle the energy down, then it's earth. Then the body becomes clearer or emptier, and the mind is a bit uplifted, more connected to this universal
sounds ideal
source or energy. So I think one of the main things is, we call it like the self-healing form. So the body is divided. The front part is the more delicate part. The back part is the hair, the back of the body. So what we do in the self-healing form, we move the energy down to earth, and we open the front part, open here the lungs. So this is, even if people don't know exactly what they're doing, they still get the effect of the connection and the healing. Then we connect up with the heaven up here, come down the back, the front, lower back, pushing down to the feet, turn.
Lose me in a minute.
Yeah, then open the inside, coming up. So the higher part, we're kind of connecting up into the heaven. Now, the fingers, if you slightly bend them, you're dipping into this energy field beyond our own. So often our own is a bit cut off. In Qigong, we're reconnecting up here. The more we reconnect up here, the more we reconnect down there with the earth. So it's like the body is just plugged in to the heaven, to the earth. So then we're moving the energy also through the body, the heavy element, down to earth, down through the feet into the earth. So this, both a physical and energetic movement, very simple and very effective. And then coming out of this, there's obviously some meditations, sitting practice, standing, 5 animals. So for the children, I'm doing quite a few of the animals, which are more fun. So this is the self-healing form, very simple to remember. Always we come down the outside and up the inside. We can do it also without bending down. If somebody's not so flexible, you can just go down to the feet, to the earth, turn, come up the inside. So this is just to give an idea of how we can connect down to earth. And if we stand, the feet into the earth, a bit like a tree rooted into the earth, the knees slightly bent, we just drop everything down. But often we're holding on to things. So in Qigong, it's just letting go of everything. When you really drop everything down, the earth supports us. But we tend to hold things in the body, so the body is always a bit stuck. So this is kind of way to move the energy and to de-stress as well. So we can't really go into meditations at the moment, haven't really got time, but that's just to give an idea of the self-healing form. And then Tai Chi came out of Qigong, came later, because often when we connect the energy with, say, the hands, you start sensing the 2 hands may be connected, and then a movement can come out spontaneously. So I think children would love this kind of idea of just moving with the energy once you connect with the hands. And it's kind of fun, it's easy, and it's natural actually. It's not something weird, it's just something we've kind of forgotten about a bit. So anyway, that's just a little idea of that. So I think the main thing is everything becomes grounded, head becomes clearer. So typically after a session, we have more clarity of mind, breathing improves, and a lot of healing aspects. We don't have to talk about that so much with children, but definitely for adults, that's why a lot of people do Qigong, because of the healing. So if they have, health issues, it can really help to transform the kind of health, improve it.
Wonderful. That's fantastic. Great. So they're 15 minutes long. Is that what you said?
They're going to be just 15 minutes, yeah. And there's 7 of them. I think there'll be an additional 8th one. I thought I'd add, my most watched one on YouTube is how to digest food quickly and easily. And I think kids love doing that, because they start hearing this.
I mean, everyone's posting hilarious stuff of how obese we're all going to be at the end of this life. Food has become the focus of the day. What is dinner?
Yeah. Actually, I might do something on that. Yeah, how not to become obese during the crisis.
Yeah, let's just not be so heavy.
But the interesting thing about the Qigong is, normally when we eat, it takes a few hours to digest. So with Qigong digestion, we can speed it up to maybe 10-15 minutes. And what we're doing, we're transforming the food into energy, because often it takes a while. And in fact, we don't get that much energy out of the food if it takes so long to digest it anyway. So we're that link will be on there as well.
Perfect. Lovely. Okay, Alessandro, thank you so much. It was an absolute pleasure.
Lovely to chat. Yes.
The links are down below. Please check them out and get your kids and yourselves, everyone involved.
Very healthy.
It's a wonderful practice, and just 10-15 minutes a day is going to make such a huge difference for everybody. And I think everyone's looking, even though people are at home, some people are still really, really busy. And obviously we've got frontline workers as well who are going out. So to be able to give maybe something that's only 15 minutes for those people as well, for them to mind their health and their well-being and their mental health is really, really important. So it'd be great for them too.
And I was thinking, I'm sure some parents will enjoy practicing with their kids, because it's.
I'm going to be doing it with my kids.
Yeah, do it. Yeah, and you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. Not you'll be surprised, but some parents will be. I mean, I remember when the kids were young, they were 7 and 8, and I'd go to the park and I'd say, "Look, a tree is a living thing. Can you feel the energy from this tree?" And they'd go, "Yeah, of course we can," and they'd run off like it's so what. Whereas an adult thinks,
"No, this is gonna be nothing for them. This would be normal."
But they get it like that, and it's like, of course an energy, of course I can feel it. An adult would say, "What are you talking about?" But it's a living thing. We're living things. So Qigong is like reconnecting to the living aspect, which at the moment is a bit squashed because of news, media. So we need to just stay open and stay positive. So that's my
absolutely. And what a wonderful
final message.
Ancient technique to be able to use in modern day times in this.
Yes, and thank you for your amazing work, Sarah, as well. I love your session and your website, and there's so much support there. So I think you're doing an amazing job. I'm really grateful to you.
Well, I know I can't go out and be at the front line and do anything that way. So I just feel like we've, those of us who were of service to people in terms of helping people in, before all of this, I'm sure I'm feeling quite frustrated as well in terms of, we know we can help. We know we've got tools and techniques to really help us all get through this.
Definitely.
Do it all together. So Alessandro, have an amazing rest of the day.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on here.
And stay safe.
And you. Thanks a lot.